Hi boys and girls, today we're going to be looking at some unit fractions and comparing them. So the first thing we're going to do is look at a TEA that's going to be assigned to you to follow along with your teacher or in Google Classroom. So I'm going to share my screen with you now. We are going to be working with pattern blocks to help us understand our fraction pieces. It says drag the fractions to the box next to each rectangle to name the fraction of the rectangle that is shaded. So let's look at the first one. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes in this rectangle. There is 1 out of 5 shaded, so that would be the fraction 1/5. Now let's look at this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 in all, and 1 is shaded. That's 1/8. The bigger the denominator, the smaller the pieces. So go ahead and say that. The bigger the denominator, the smaller the pieces. Let's just remember that when we use food, math makes sense. Okay, so let's just pretend that all 4 of these rectangles are pans of brownies. Okay, so the first pan of brownies is shared with 5 people. The second pan is shared with 8 people. The slices get smaller because you're sharing with more people. Let's look at this fraction. 1 out of 3 is 1/3. And then this one is 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces in all, and 1 is shaded, so that would be 1/4. Now, if I asked you to order them from biggest to smallest, you could look at these models and you could do that. Remember, the bigger the denominator, the smaller the pieces. So the smallest fraction is actually 1/8. It's shared with the most people, and the piece is the smallest. The next one would be 1/5. It's shared with the second most people. Then we would have a 1/4, and then the biggest fraction is 1/3. Drag the fractions to the box next to each circle to name the fraction of the circle that is shaded. 1 out of 6, 1/6. 1 out of 2, 1/2. Here we have 1 out of 3. The numerator is the part that's colored. The denominator is all the parts in the whole, 1/3. And here we have 1 out of 4, or 1/4. This time, let's order them from the largest to the smallest. The largest fraction is 1/2. It's shared with the smallest number of people, so it has the biggest part. Then we have 1/3, 1/4, and 1/6. 1/6 has the smallest piece. The bigger the denominator, the smaller the pieces. How can you show 1/2 using pattern blocks? All right, well, I could take 1 whole and cover up. So on this one, you would just know that this is half of the hexagon. If I took this, let's just make if this is the whole, then what would the half? If this is the whole, then half would be 1 triangle. And I think those are the 2 ways. So if I thought about this is 1 whole, and this is half of the whole, this is 1 whole, and this is half of the whole. Oh, this one will let me layer it. See how that 1 green triangle became half of the rhombus? And this red, it still won't let me on that one. That's okay. We know what it is, don't we? All right, friends. So you'll get to play along with that. I would suggest just doing like I just did, the whole and the half. All right, the next one says, what other fractions can you represent with these pattern blocks? Would you pause the video and see what you can come up with? Okay, friends. So hopefully you had time to sketch out some different scenarios, or maybe you have these blocks in front of you if you're at school and you made some predictions. I'm going to show you now what I came up with. If I had one of these, I could All right, and then our last one. For this problem, the hexagon represents one hole. Use the pattern blocks to show 3 ways you can make one hole. All right, so 1 hole for the yellow, and I can use 2 of these. I just need to turn it. So turning, there we go. Turn it, and that makes a hole. And then I believe I can use 3 of these if I turn them correctly. It's a little hard to manipulate these. If you're having a hard time manipulating these on your slides, just make a text box, which you know how to do, and explain it with your words. Or you can draw a picture on your paper and put that into the slide as well. It's okay if it's a little tricky. Now, how many triangles could we make to equal the whole? Let's think about that. If I know that one triangle, this one's going to be tricky. If I know that one triangle makes up half of one of my blue rhombuses, just pretend that's perfect, okay? Go with it. So if I know that one triangle can go here, so I'm going to count 1, 2. So for each blue rhombus, there would be 2 triangles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So to make a hole using triangles, I would need 6 green triangles. So there are 4 ways that I can make one hole using the same pattern blocks. All right, friends, so that's all I have for you today, and I hope that this helped you. You may do your TEA on your own. Remember, if it gets a little frustrating, just use the voice-to-text app or tool, and just send your teacher your thoughts using your words, or you can take a picture of your thinking and put that into the slide. Thanks, friends. Work hard, learn a lot. See you soon. Bye.